The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about this fight is Bob Arum. Bob Arum's the first thing that comes to my mind. Is Timmy gonna be allowed to win? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Is Timmy even gonna be allowed to win this fight? Because looking at it from Bob Arum's perspective, trying to get into the head of Bob Arum and see how this old man's thinking, it's like it's 50-50. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what his plans are for the future for his top rank promotions. But the way I see it, first of all, let me start off by saying I feel Timothy Bradley has the capabilities of beating this other guy. I really do, because this other guy has shown me a different version. His past 2 fights have been lackluster. He's a different version. And when I say a different version, this other guy, Manny Pacquiao, let me say his name. Pacquiao, you know, he was a whirlwind. He was a storm. He was everything they hyped him up to be. He was that. Now, was it because the other version included steroids or enhancements? I wouldn't put it past him. It very well sits in the place seeing the events that have happened and in the fashion they have happened. And it very well is easy to put that into place that this man was on enhancements or steroids. And that's what made him that version of what we seen. That version that may have been sloppy, you know, may have been wild and crazy at times, but that wild and crazy shit was very dangerous for any fighter that stepped in the ring with him. Now this past Pacquiao that fought Mosley and fought Marquez, Timothy Bradley, to me, can beat this version easily. Easily, the same way Marquez did. But is Timmy going to be allowed to win? That's the thing. See, nobody knows who Timothy Bradley is besides us boxing fans that are probably on YouTube, because we're the ones that really are pushing the sport to be great when the general public is pushing boxing to be dying, you know. Or not great, but we at least pay attention. Some of us, not everybody thinks it's great, but pay attention to the sport more consistently than the general public or the average, you know, watcher. I think Bradley's an unknown, like I said, and the whole point is if Bradley beats Manny Pacquiao fair and square, if he beats him, because I'm not saying, I don't know what Manny will show up. You know, if we get the Manny that's been showing up the last 2 fights, Bradley beats him. If we get the other version of Manny that may have been on some shit, you know, I think Bradley still has the capabilities of beating him, but it's going to be a tough fight. You know, it's going to be a tough fight. So if Bradley was to beat Manny Pacquiao fair and square, I would think Bob Arum would want him to win, because it gives Pacquiao a loss, and it's basically he screws Pacquiao in the end, because he says Pacquiao ain't worth shit to me no more, so he throws him in with whoever now, you know, and he really shows that, you know, he does the confidence that he's always not been having in Pacquiao, the confidence that's always lacked as a promoter, but Pacquiao just don't know that, or maybe just too blind to see it. He sends him off to Mayweather with a loss, basically. Now, I don't even know if everybody talking about this November shit. Mayweather only fights once a year. Remember that. He only fights once a year. So even if Pacquiao was to accept the November fight and Arum was to, you know, his boss Arum was to agree to that, you know, give him the green light, there's no telling that Mayweather will, because remember, Mayweather only fights once a year. Mayweather might try to push it you know, for next year or something. You know, I don't know what Mayweather's plans are. He's unpredictable when it comes to the amount of times he fights a year. And if I'm going by the past history, it's only once a year. So, you know, who knows what will happen. But if Mayweather decides to fight twice this year, which will be great, and you know, Bob Arum basically sends Pacquiao to Mayweather with a loss, so he screws Mayweather in the end, kind of, because you see, this thing has gone so far to the extent that I don't even know if it matters if Pacquiao, you know, like Mayweather knows Pacquiao lost to Marquez. All the real fans out there, we know Pacquiao lost to Marquez, but you still want to see Mayweather whoop Pacquiao's ass because of all the drama that has taken place for the last 2 to 3 years. That it doesn't even matter about Pacquiao's record or his fighting style. Even if we know this fight's going to be an easy fight for Mayweather, we still want to see Pacquiao get his ass whooped by Mayweather. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people feel that way because it justifies a lot of the bullshit that Mayweather went through. A lot of the insults, a lot of the judgment that was passed upon Mayweather unfairly at times and unreasonable at times. So regardless if Pacquiao wins or not against Bradley, a lot of people might still want to see him get his ass whooped by Mayweather. And Bob Arum, what perfect way to say, hey, have Pacquiao now. He just lost to Bradley. And best believe if Bradley wins this fight, Bradley ain't going to fight Mayweather next. Hell no, they going to build his name up. Like I said, he's an unknown in the general public. It's to us, dedicated boxing fans, that know who Timothy Bradley is. So Bob Arum will try to build Bradley's name up. And the way I see it is Timothy Bradley's the new scapegoat for Bob Arum. He can be the new Manny Pacquiao. He don't have the fan base. He don't have a whole country behind him, obviously. But he can build him up, Because best believe if Bradley wins, if Arum lets Bradley wins, if Bradley can win fair and square on his own, and Arum allows it, there's no paid judges or bullshit referees and nothing like that. I mean, I gotta question these things, man. I got my reasons. I ain't just talking out my ass or hating on Pacquiao or Arum, man. I'm going off of what I seen with my own eyes, and I know how dirty this sport is. I got my reasons, man. So if Bradley manages to beat Pacquiao fair and square, and he gets the rightful decision that Marquez should have earned and got, then the next thing is basically Arum will keep Bradley on a winning streak. He'll pick and choose his fights carefully. He might throw in some catch weights here and there. He'll do whatever he needs to do to suit Bradley. And see, this is the sad part. Bradley's a good fighter just like Pacquiao's a good fighter. Okay? I don't care. Everybody don't have to be great, but these are very good fighters, in my opinion, still. Pacquiao's still a very good fighter. May not be great, like we're making him out to be, like I said before, but he's a very good fighter still. These guys do not even need all these handicaps. It's like, that's what I like to call it. Bob Arum likes to handicap the opponents before he lets them face his cash cow. You don't have to do that with Bradley. But now you're going to degrade Bradley in a way. And if Bradley ain't man enough to speak up, and I hope this brother's man enough to speak up to Arum, he won't just let him, because Bradley speaks fucking English. He speaks good English, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be no bullshit going on the way he running Pacquiao. That Bradley shouldn't let that shit happen unless he really selling his soul to the devil for real, for real. Just because you're in the top rank don't mean Bob Arum got to bitch you and boss you around. You still should have some hearsay over your career. So if Bradley doesn't turn into a straight bitch against Bob Arum, but Bob Arum will dictate his career, Basically, he'll keep him on a winning streak, and he'll keep him away from Mayweather, because if Bradley beats Pacquiao and he faces Mayweather next and loses, his stock's going to go down the drain. He's not even known to start with, so he's got to build his name up. Early thoughts on Bradley facing Pacquiao. I feel Bradley has the capabilities of beating Pacquiao. Like I said, this version of Pacquiao is not the same version that was bouncing around on his toes, giving us different angles. Just had a lot of more fire under his ass. But like I said, that fire definitely could have been steroids or enhancements. You just never know. And that's just one scenario that I'm giving, man. Bob Arum I don't know if Pacquiao's going to fight for the next 4 or 5 years. He might, because it seems that he hasn't acquired enough money that would be reasonable of a superstar of his magnitude. It seems like Bob Arum's been ripping a lot of that money off, so I won't be surprised if Pacquiao does fight for the next 4 or 5 years. So in that case, I guess Bob Arum will want to keep Pacquiao undefeated by any means necessary. So you got to ask yourself, is Timmy even going to be? You got to ask yourself, is Timmy even going to be allowed to win? I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is I'm not paying for this fight. Everybody come around my way. My peoples come to my crib. I got like the something like the movie theater over here, and everybody come to my crib and watch the fights, and and it's all gravy. It's cool because I love boxing. A lot of my friends are just casual fans. I really don't have fans that are. That's why I come on YouTube, because I have friends that watch boxing, but they're not into it the way I am. They support me and everything, but they not into it like that. So they watch the big fights at my house, but I tell you, somebody else is gonna have to order the fight. I'm not paying for this fight. It ain't shit to me. The money ain't nothing to me, to be honest. But it's more of a principle involved. I've seen how Bob Arum's ran shit. He's definitely deprived us so far of the biggest fight in the history of boxing. He ain't getting a penny from me. I'm not ordering this fight. And to tell you the truth, man, I'm so disgusted. If I start watching that fight and I see Timmy standing around, because Timmy go hard, Timmy go balls out. You know what I mean? Timmy is one of the most determined fighters I've ever seen. Timmy's one of the most cut fighters I've ever seen. You know what I mean? For real, dude's cut to the T. I don't even think he has a pound of body fat on him. But if I see Timmy standing around and Timmy double guessing himself and see Timmy doing strange shit that I've never seen Timmy doing in the ring, I don't even think I'm gonna bother to watch the rest of the fight, man, because that's when I know right there this shit's a fraud. Slideways 100, man. I'm out.